welcome to First Things First. I'm Jenna Wolf, and that is the Hall of Famer Cris Carter. Nick Wright needs some coffee, but after that, we're raring to go. How is everybody?
Awesome. What a weekend of sports.
Oh, let me guess. Did you get to watch all of it uninterrupted, sitting down
It's part of my job, Jenna Wolf, so yes, I did. Absolutely. There are few rules and regulations in my household, Cece. One of them is first week in the NCAA tournament. I mean, I'm guessing, Cece, did you get dressed yesterday?
No, I was in my pajamas for a long time. Went to dinner late and everything.
I literally love hating you guys, both of you.
That's a great way to start the week, Jenna.
God. But I'm glad that everyone got a chance to watch a little bit of sports this weekend. Let's start with one of the moves that happened early on, the Jets move. You know, the one where they sold the farm for what could be the fattest cow on the lot. The Jets and the Colts swap picks, with the New York moving up to number 3 in April's draft. Indianapolis gets the 6th overall pick in addition to 3 second-round picks. Hey, the Jets want a franchise quarterback, no doubt about it. So, CC, let's start the conversation with you. How good of a move was this for the New York Jets?
Well, we're never going to know how good the move is until we see what is the prospect that they get, what type of offense do they put around them, does the kid develop to be their franchise quarterback? That's when you can determine if this is a good pick. Sure. Before then, you know, of course it's a good pick. They don't have a quarterback. When you don't have a quarterback, you have to do whatever you can to try to secure yourself one. They couldn't get Kirk Cousins, offered him $30 million, offered him 2 more than Minnesota offered him. He decided to go to Minnesota, so you knew your next best option was to go into the free agent quarterback pool. They went with Josh McCown, a safe, Teddy Bridgewater, a little more of a risk there, but they haven't invested a lot of money in them. They haven't invested a lot of guaranteed money in them. And long term, if they get their quarterback, they're not strapped to a guy for the future. So I think it's a good move, because when you don't have a quarterback, this draft presents opportunities for several quarterbacks. If you're not in that race to get one of these young arms, then what are you doing as a franchise?
Right.
They're just going to put off, you know, their overall development as a franchise until 2019. And if I'm Todd Bowles, I have to make this pick. And the reason why is because if he don't get a quarterback, they're going to get rid of him. So he's got to be able to, him in the front office, they got to be able to try to trade and get up into it where they can definitely get one of the top 3 quarterbacks.
Here's my biggest concern with this move, because I understand why the incentives are for Mike Maccagnan, for Todd Bowles, to not worry about 5 years from now and worry about right now, because if they don't get the quarterback right,
then they don't have a 5 years.
Then they don't have 5 years from now. But Jets fans do. If you're a Jets fan right now, you were likely birthed into that Jets fandom, and you can blame your parents for that, but there's no getting out of it. Like that, so you do have to worry about the health of your team long term. And the concern I have is this, man, once in my lifetime, I was born in 1984. One time since 1984 was there a draft where there were 3 franchise quarterbacks. That was the famous 04 draft: Eli, Big Ben, Phillip Rivers. When you move up to get your quarterback and you don't get to 1 and you don't get to 2.
What year was Dan Marino drafted?
83. That's what I was 83. There were 3 that year as well. Elway, Kelly, Marino. So twice in the last 35 years we want to do it. Once since.
Forget how young he
is. Once since.
I don't forget when I hear his takes.
Once in my lifetime, there's been a draft with 3 franchise quarterbacks.
Right.
So you traded 3 second-round picks, the 37th, the 48th, and next year's second-round pick, which will be in the top 40 most likely, to still not guarantee yourself one of the 2 best guys, to still, unless this is the outlier draft, need to rely on either the Browns or the Giants, or if the Giants trade the pick, whomever's drafting there, missing on their quarterback. That's the part that concerns me. And the idea that you could credibly say as the Jets after the draft, well, we had 3 guys all rated the exact same, when the top quarterback prospects are so different. Baker Mayfield doesn't have a lot in common with Josh Allen, who doesn't have a lot in common with Josh Rosen, who doesn't have a lot in common with Sam Darnold. When there's such different prospects, that's the part that concerns me. But CC's right on this end, no doubt. If they end up with a franchise quarterback,
it was worth it.
You could trade 6 second-round picks.
I guarantee you what's going to happen if they don't trade up. They're not going to get the quarterback that they want. That's the reason why you make the trade. And what if the Jets moved the number? If the Jets had the number 1 pick, would you be more satisfied with it?
100%.
Why is that?
because then you know
who would be the guy. Who would be that guy you know?
Well, I don't. No. Hold on. I'm not saying you know.
I wasn't saying anything.
No. But I just want to make it clear. I'm not saying I know definitively who the guy is. But if you're drafting number 1, what you know is you are getting the guy you want. At number 3, you might not even get the first or second guy you want.
We can't determine this without looking at their board. All right? If they see the third quarterback is Josh Allen, and that's the guy they want him over all the other quarterbacks, he's going to be right there for them to take. So in that case, then they win. Like, it's hard to not look at people's draft board and not equate the value to what they're getting. They might be in love with Baker Mayfield. He might be there for them. We don't know that part. So without knowing who they have ranked, because I can guarantee you the night of the draft, after they draft this player, they will definitely tell us, oh, this guy was the highest ranked player on the board. That's the way all the teams do.
Right.
The worry is not that the Giants are probably going to take with you. The worry is that someone else is going to trade up and jump in there, because all what we're hearing is the Giants right now are sort of leaning towards Saquon Barkley. But you're right. Unless they've got all 3 quarterbacks ranked exactly even, then you have a hard time getting the absolute guy you want. Are 1 or 2? We've had this discussion for weeks. There's not 1 or 2 or 3 that are leaps and bounds above all the others.
No, of course not. I like the Jets getting in the mix, because where they were picking at 6, there's a possibility they wouldn't have one of the top 3 quarterbacks. And if they're not in love with whoever number 4 is, you have to be able to get into the top 3 to try to get one of these guys.
I think maybe the other reason that just my instant reaction when I saw what they gave up, I was like, that's a lot, is I remember what the Bears gave up to move from 3 to 2. The Bears, now 3 to 2 is not as significant a jump as 6 to 3, but when they did it, they knew who they were drafting. They moved up knowing it was during the draft. We want to draft Mitch Trubisky. He's there. They gave up the 67th pick, a 3rd rounder, and a 4th rounder. It just feels like, think about it from this perspective, because we shouldn't ignore the Colts here. I think the Colts did amazingly well, because they're not drafting a quarterback. They not only stay in the top 6, but with the 37th, 48th, and next year's number 2, they can easily move back into the 1st round this year if they want to. And the Colts need a ton of talent and a ton of players.
Cece, how does this affect other teams in the draft now? What are people going to start? What are we looking at? Who wants to move where, and how much of an impact does it have?
If the Browns were thinking about drafting Saquon Barkley with the 1st pick, they can't do that now, because the possibility, those other 2 teams, the Giants, and after that, drafting a quarterback. So now they still have control of the draft and of the 1st round. But now they don't have as many options. But I also believe that they might not take Barkley. They might take the quarterback at 1, which I believe should be Sam Darnold. And then they might get Chubb, get him as a defensive end, match him with Myles Garrett, who they drafted last year to shore up their defense. So I believe it affects the Browns in the fact that the Browns now have more options at the number 4 pick than they did before.
Well, this is the other winner from this trade, whether you think the Colts or the Jets were the winner of this part of it, is the Browns. Because what the Browns want more than anything, if they're taking a quarterback at 1, is for 2 and 3, for at least 1, if not 2 quarterbacks to go off the board. You now know, if you're Cleveland taking a quarterback at 1, that the team picking 3rd is taking a quarterback. So if the Giants keep the pick and they don't take a quarterback, then you're getting either Chubb or Barkley. If the Giants trade the pick to a team that wants a quarterback and wants to get in front of the Jets, then you get Barkley at 4 or Chubb at 4, whomever you like more. Like, what the Browns want is, after they take a quarterback, for it to go quarterback when they pick again, because then they will be getting their number 1 quarterback and their number 1 skill position guy with the 1st and the 4th pick.
Are you off your corner of the Browns taking 2 quarterbacks?
Well, that was never really a corner. It was more of an idea and a hypothesis, something that I thought was interesting.
When did he say he was born?
1984.
Okay.
But now, if you're going to have certainly 2, if not 3 quarterbacks taken before the 4th pick, no, you don't need to take 2 quarterbacks. And that was before they had Tyrod Taylor. And Tyrod's, by the way, not a terrible option for them.
So Jets fans, happy today?
Nick's worried about 5 years from now. To me, the Jets fans aren't as sophisticated. Oh, we're worried about the salary cap. 5 years from now, I'm worried about those draft picks. I'll miss
Our boss is a Jets fan, so Whit, good luck to you.
On that note, we walk past to get into our office every morning after the show, Jets fans who work at the front desk. And for the fans out there, because Cece's right, they're not worried about the long-term ramifications of second-round draft picks. Jets fans are very excited this morning. That part I totally
Are you worried
agree
about what Kansas City going to do in 5 years?
I'm
not worried. Before you answer, I'm not worried about Minnesota. All right? I'm not worried about the salary cap. They're paying somebody a hell of a lot of money to be worried about the cap and the draft picks. As a fan, I want the best team on the field. You can pay Kirk Cousins $60 million. Let's try to win a championship.
All right. Coming up.
Sophisticated fans. Oh, they're worried.
Whit, we still
That is a bit of an
lot.
oxymoron.
We're going to break down a weekend of March Madness next on First Things First.